Have you ever tried to bulk, but then came out of the other end with 2 pounds of fat and no muscle? Well, I've been there, but in this video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know to make sure you have a successful bulk. Alright, so the first thing you need to do is to track your weight and your calories. The reason you want to track your weight is so that you have something to go off of and you can kind of see your progress and whether you're losing or gaining weight and adjust your calories from there. So the way you want to track your weight is obviously you need a scale, and I would recommend to weigh yourself in the morning before you've ate anything and try to make sure it's at the same time every day and preferably wearing the same thing as well. So for example, like I'll wake up and then go to the bathroom, right, and weigh myself at the same time every day so it's consistent. And then each day you want to write down your weight. So for example, I write it on my calendar, which you can actually see like right there. But each day write down your weight. And you don't actually want to look at the change in weight for each day. What you want to do is to take a weekly average. So what you do is take your weight, all your weight measurements for that week, add them all together, and then divide by 7, and you have your average. And you want to be looking at those numbers, the average of each week, to see if your weight's really going up or down. Because as you know, weight fluctuates day to day. And for tracking your calories, I already made a video on that, so make sure you go watch that first. If you're planning on starting your bulk, I would recommend that 1 week before you start, you track your weight and calories for the whole week, just so you kind of like know what you're doing for the bulk. And it also helps you find your maintenance calories roughly. Alright, so how do you actually make your surplus? Well, the thing with maintenance calories is that I would say you should use like a calorie calculator to find out your maintenance, but it's only going to be a rough estimate. And take that number and then just add however many calories you need, which I'll get to, but you don't need to know your exact maintenance because the way it works is that you track your calories so you know how many calories you're eating and however many calories you're eating, right? Like whatever amount of surplus you're in, the way that you know it's working or not is from the scale. So if your weight is going up in the consistent way you want, well then you don't need to change your calories. But if you see that your weight's staying the same, then you can up your calories. So knowing your maintenance isn't really necessary, and also it's pretty hard to find out anyways, since most calculators on the internet are just a rough estimate. Now for how big of a surplus you want, it kind of depends on how fast you want to gain weight. So usually if I was bulking, I would try to gain about 0.5% of my body weight per week. So if you weigh 100 pounds, that's half a pound per week. If you weigh 200 pounds, that's 1 pound per week. I definitely don't recommend dirty bulking, and what I mean by that is an excess of calories in a surplus. Generally, your surplus should be anywhere from 200 to 400 calories. Try to stick to mostly healthy food, and if you have a hard time getting in your calories, then just try to eat more of that healthy food, and maybe you can make some exceptions here and there to try and get more calories. But so I was just editing this video, and what I meant to say here is that if you struggle to get enough calories while eating only healthy food, then what you need to do is to stop being a bitch, because it's not that hard, bro. Look at your plate. You got like this small amount of rice, like one piece of chicken, bro. Like my goldfish eats more than that. What I used to do was I just ate a bunch of small meals throughout the day, and at the end of the day I would look at my calories, I'd be like, oh, I still have 500 calories left, and I would just go eat like a piece of chocolate or something. But what you need to do is to increase your portion sizes of the healthy food. And that's what I started doing recently, and it's actually working out pretty good. Just double the serving of rice, like double the amount of chicken. Just eat more of the healthy stuff so that you don't snack on unhealthy stuff. Instead of having small meals and lots of snacks, you need to have big healthy meals and no snacks. Like it's really not that hard to get in your calories. You just gotta plan ahead and really make sure you're increasing your portions. If you're telling me you can't get enough calories and you're eating like 100 grams of rice in one meal, well then why not 200? Why not 300? Why not 500, huh? Tell me. There's no more excuses left. There's no reason for you to be eating 100 grams of rice and then going and eating like a tub of ice cream, bro. Like sure, we're all human. It's not like we're gonna have a perfect diet all the time. But you shouldn't like include cheat meals and say like, oh, it's for the bulk, bro. Like, bro, shut the fuck. Anyways, that's enough of my rants. Back to the video. But in general, don't go crazy on cheats. For macros in general, you want to make sure you're getting enough protein, which is anywhere from 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. And for the rest of your macros, it doesn't really matter too much, but you might want to have your carbs a bit higher. although eating a lot of fats does help you gain a lot of calories. Now, in terms of your training, it should pretty much stay the same, although you can handle higher volumes compared to if you're cutting. And you want to make sure you are actually working out properly, because if you're not, then all those calories in the surplus are mostly just going to go to fat. So what should you do if you're not making progress? Well, if your weight's been staying the same for a week or 2 weeks straight, then what you should do is try to add 100 to 200 calories on top of what you're already eating, and then just see if your weight starts going up more. And if it's not, then you can always just add more calories. So how long should you bulk for? Well, theoretically, you could just bulk forever, but obviously you're going to be gaining fat. So how do you know when to stop? Well, I would say once you get to around 18% body fat, and obviously this is different for everyone depending on your goals, but that's when I would probably stop. And if you're above 18 or 20% body fat already, then it's probably not a very productive idea to go on a bulk. So what about main gaining? Well, the thing is, I heard this one argument where it was like you only need 97 calories or something per day to gain like the most amount of muscle you can. But the thing with that is that the amount of muscle you can gain with that many calories, like sure you only need that many calories, but that doesn't mean you're going to gain that much muscle. And the reason you need a larger surplus is to actually create the environment inside your body in order to build more muscle in the optimal amount. You also want to make sure that you're making progress on your workouts as well, because if you're not making any strength gains or any progress in your workouts, then you might not be getting any muscle. And I'm probably going to make a video in the future about how to track your workouts, so stay tuned for that one. Well, that's it. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments.